Share your screen. So interesting. Oh my God. Is it live? Okay, guys. I'm trying this new thing. I'm trying to go live. I've never done this on YouTube before. And I thought I could talk about some questions that I've been getting the in the like comments, people leaving comments. So I have one question that I wanted to start with just to like warm things up. Hold on. I'm also like I'm also this is my first live, so I'm like ah! Okay, so I'm going to start with a question and then that will hopefully like warm things up. And then if you want to ask a question in the chat or just like let me know your thoughts, then we can go from there. Thank you, P. Thank you for saying that I'm taking more risks. I am. I really am. So when I went to visit YouTube, there were like 2 boot camps that were going on at the same time. And I was in the memberships boot camp. And then there was another live stream boot camp. And so I met some people who were in that. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know that was like a thing. And it was like basically like gamers and they were, learning like live stream strategy. And I was like, I think it just had embedded in my brain that this was something that you could do. And ever since I've been like, I think I want to try that because it seems very scary to me. So we do scary things. Hi, Macy. Hi, Chrissy. Macy says, tuning in and doing my late morning stretches. Yes, good. I went for a walk this morning. It was really nice. Okay. So the question I wanted to start with was someone had commented in my video yesterday. They had said, because I've been talking about like how you have to believe in yourself. And sorry, I don't know if I'm like looking at the camera in the right place. This is my first live, so I'm just figuring it out. Should I go this way? No, I think I have to go this way. Sit here. Okay, figuring it out. Do I look centered? Does it look okay? So Island from Japan says they just watched the new video. Okay, great. It looks good. Okay, we're not going to worry about it. But did you know my desk goes up and down? So I can do that. Okay. So someone had asked in yesterday's video, the comment was, and I'll copy and paste it into the chat, and then I wanted to answer this. Okay, so someone said, how does the belief in yourself come first? I can tell myself these things, but simply can't actually believe them. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about with this is that if you're having trouble turning the belief on, you basically have to start, like what I would say is like start super small. Okay. So the way that the mechanism works is you have a belief. Okay, let's take a really simple example. Like I took a walk this morning. Okay. So how did that happen? I started in the morning. I was like getting dressed and I had this little random thought that was like, oh, it'd be so great to take a walk today. Okay. Now there were like 50 other thoughts in my brain, but at the time I was like, okay. Now I could have done a lot of other things than take the walk because taking a walk is sort of like, it's kind of annoying. Like, what shoes am I going to wear? What path am I going to take? Like, gotta find my headphones. Like there's like 17 little stupid things that I have to do in order to take this walk. But I had the idea, right? Like go for a walk. And so the trick is when you have these sort of intuitive hits, even if they make no sense and they are impractical and they're kind of annoying, right? And this is a very, very low stakes, very, very low stakes, right? It's like, am I going to go for a walk? Like very low stakes. When you have such a low stakes thing, you have to follow through on it. And so I was like, Mandy, practice what you preach. So I did all the things. I got my keys, I got my sandals on, I found my headphones, had to go to the other room to find the headphones. Like it was a whole thing. Took my little walk, 10 minutes, came back. Okay. So what are we doing in that scenario? We're basically reinforcing the idea that you would have a thought, you would have an intention. You can also call it a belief, right? You would have an intention, you would have a thought, and then that would turn into an action. I actually took my ass out and I did it, right? So what are we doing? We are completing the loop. Hi, Lewis. Good to see you. Hi, Lost in Space. Island, I see your question. I'll answer that next. Okay, so what we're doing is we're completing that loop, right? You have an idea. You have a belief. The belief is I should go on a walk. I want to go on a walk. That would be nice. That would be nice to get some fresh air, right? Then you take these little actions and then you do it. Okay? And so the relationship between the part of you that is like, I want to do something, okay, and then the part of you that actually does it, we want that connection. We want those two parts to be like besties. We want those two parts to be like really good friends. Okay? So I'll give you a couple more examples. Let's say you have a thought in your brain and you're like, I want to go to the grocery store. Okay. Then there's a million reasons why, oh, today's not a good day. I have all this other stuff going on. Da, da, da. Okay. But again, you are someone who says, I have an idea and I follow through on that idea. Okay. So you're going to build up the muscle over time. So you're going to say, now I'm someone who, when I have an idea, I execute on that idea. Okay. So you bring that into your creative space as well. So you practice with these really small things like, I want to go on a walk. So I went on a walk. I told myself I should call my friend back. And I'm like kind of a bad friend and I didn't call her back. Well, then you call her back, right? You say you need to get groceries. You want to do meal prep. Then you are the person who goes to the store and gets the groceries and does meal prep, right? So as you're incorporating this into your daily life, the relationship between the little thoughts in your head and your ability to act on those thoughts, right? That's belief. That's belief. Belief is essentially trust. Okay. So belief is essentially saying, I trust that when I say something, I'm going to do it. Now, with creative projects, this is really hard because creative projects are so large and they require so many moving parts. Okay, so again, you just have to start small. You have to be like, okay, so I want to write the novel. I want to write the great legacy work that will impact people's lives, right? But maybe first I have to start by saying, I want to write a paragraph. Am I someone who can trust that I can write that paragraph? Okay, so then you write the paragraph. And they're like, oh, I actually bloody did it. Wow, right? And then you write 2 paragraphs and then 3. And so this is the process of, okay, so I'm answering the original question. How does the belief in yourself come first? By connecting belief with action and by being someone who has a very tight relationship between these two things. Okay, does that make sense? Does that help? Let me know. Okay. I'm just reading through the comments. Okay. So I'm going to answer pin. Okay. Ooh, guys, I'm figuring this out. See, I'm pushing my creative boundaries as well because this is terrifying. Being on YouTube Live, quite terrifying. And the fact, guess what's going through my head? I'm like, oh my God. First off, the background, it's like my messy office, whatever. Okay, we can improve that. You like turn the computer. Is that better? No, we're just gonna exist. Okay. But then what's going through my head right now as I'm like showing up and being seen is like, oh my God, this is all gonna be recorded and people are gonna watch the replay. And like every little like like thing is gonna be forever immortalized on YouTube. Terrifying. Okay, but we show up, because you know why? I had this idea. I'm like, let's go live. And now I have to be the person that follows through on it, which is kind of scary. But okay, thank you, Lost in Space. I appreciate that. Okay. Um, so what I'm figuring out with this YouTube chat is when I'm answering a question in the chat, I'm gonna pin it at the top, and then if you're just joining, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so Island says, "How do you cope when you have a dream, but the skills are so far away from where they have to be to achieve it? Artist in hiding, hoping to make comics in the future, but I feel like it will get me 20 years." Okay, so first off, Island, I want you to expand your feeling of time. And truly, if this is your life's work and this is something that you love and want to do and feel a little bit obsessed with, like we want to get into that, like I'm a little bit obsessed state, then what I would say is if it takes 20 years, then so be it. If that is what greatness takes, then that is what greatness takes. Okay. What you are trying to, so comics, having like a really successful comic strip or comic book, right, is the outcome. That's the outcome. But in order to do that, it's probably, like you say, 50 different skills that you have to master over time. And so I want you to think about this from a mastery standpoint, which is that, yes, this is a collection of highly specialized creative and technical skills that you will have to build over a long period of time. Now, the reason why this is a worthy goal, right? The reason why this, God, my hair, this does not, whatever. Look, it just keeps popping out. Okay. The reason why this is a worthy goal is precisely because it's so hard. It's so hard. You have to be the creator, the producer, the ideator. You have to draw the thing. You have to make it cute. You have to make it funny. And then once it's done, you have to promote it. Then there's commercialized pressure to sell it. I mean, it's like 1,000 skills, right? But to me, what I see is like, oh, that's a worthy creative project, because most people won't do it. It's just too hard. Okay. So it is hard. It will take time. And what I would say is you are just trying to develop mastery, right? You feel pressure because you're like, I need this thing to be done and sold and successful next year. What if next year the goal was just to become better at drawing? like like if you take it slow, you'll actually go faster. Okay? So I hope that helps. Yeah, and T Kyle says, try dedicating an hour a day to practice, have fun, just keep consistent, and you'll get there. Yeah, guys, if you have advice for people in the chat, please, we can do collective advice. Okay. I am just creating this space. I am not the authority. You guys know I do not pretend to have all the answers. Okay. Yeah, so Louise says, I think that it's frustration, feeling so deeply, wanting to be somewhere, but putting in work for such a long time feels hard. Yeah, it feels hard. That's so perfect, Louise, because it feels hard because we want that quick hit. We're just used to immediate success because all day long we just see other people's success stories, and that's not real. Like you're seeing everybody's success. I used to, when I was like trying to be on TikTok. I mean, I still am on TikTok, but like in the beginning when I was really struggling to like grow my channel, I used to complain to my husband and I'd be like, it just feels like everybody's popping off all the time. And he's like, Mandy, you realize your For You feed is everybody's best viral video. Like every time you swipe, that's somebody's breakout best hit. He's like, you can't think like that. You can't, you're seeing the highlight reel. That's how the algorithm works. They just serve you the hottest shit. So you're comparing your everyday life to people having the greatest moment of their creator timeline. You can't think about it like that. Yeah. Okay. So let me take another question. Um oh, how do I do? Hold on. Replace pinned message. Okay. So the next question is Louise's question. Oh, and you were just look at you. You're just giving other people advice. So nice. Okay. So you said, I am so good at coming up with ideas, but struggle so hard in finishing because I feel a block and it doesn't come up as I want. So I jump around like a rabbit and never finish anything. Help. Okay. Who can relate to this? Everybody. Everybody. Louise, you're so not alone. We want to be successful so badly. And okay, so first off, I think having multiple projects and jumping around is like not a bad thing at all. I think that could be like part of the process. You know, sometimes you need a little bit of like motivation or something new. So having multiple things is not bad at all. Okay. What I would say, Louise, is my suggestion to you would be pick something that you can finish because the art of finishing is just living in the own mediocrity of it, but then also saying like, this is done. This is done. Okay. And it's more important, I think, for your psyche. So, okay, I'm also reading into your message. So your message says, I'm so good at coming up with ideas. So you're an ideator. So you generate a lot of energy when you come up with the idea. And it's so exciting. And it feels like you're innovating and like creating this like potential, right? That's a high. And then when you actually have to, like, finish the thing and, like, sit in the middle part of it, which is just really a lot of hard work and, like, no recognition, and it sucks, right? It becomes less appealing. So, I think for you, I think you're really gonna have to try and figure out how you work best, because I think for your psyche, I think finishing will be very important because there's something about knowing that the idea will be fully realized and fully taken care of. And so I would also look at for some reason, I'm also like the image of like being in a yoga class comes up for me where I'm like, okay, imagine you are in a yoga class. Like, are you someone who gets up before savasana? Like I feel like there's something about the total completion of something, even through its discomfort. Like I'm so impatient. I'm the same way. That's why if it feels like I'm calling you out, I'm not. I'm really calling myself out, right? But it's kind of like before I'm even done with my meal, I'm already like, "Ugh," like moving to the sink to like wash the dishes. But I think there's something about like maybe bringing that finishing energy into your life in other ways and then slowly, you probably hate slowly, but picking a project that you can actually finish. Okay. So what I'll say is, hold on, I'm just going to read the comments to see if it's tracking. People are just excited that I'm live. Okay, great. Okay. um, but so picking something that you can finish will be very important for your psyche. So finish things in life. Okay. Daily life. Like I'm just thinking of the stupidest thing where it's like I leave my car and there's just like random shit in my car. A small practice would be like, oh, pick up the trash from the car, pick up the sweater, bring it back inside. That's finishing. So you have to get better at that muscle in general, and then you can expand it into your life's work, if that makes sense. Okay. So in response, Louisa says, I've been working on stuff for years. I haven't finished anything. It really does something to my confidence. So I think the first thing too, Louise, sorry, I just added like an A for no reason. I think one of the things is, you know, art is so subjective. And the first thing I would ask you is like, maybe you are finished. Maybe you are finished, and maybe this is um your ideation state has so much energy, it doesn't know where to go. It constantly thinks there's like one more thing. Why don't you just call a project done? Like that's done, right? Because I don't know what does finished mean. So I guess okay, first let's play with the definition of what does finished mean, and then from there we can just pick something to be done. And done can also be like mediocre. I've done many a mediocre thing and just been like, "That's done," you know? Okay, I'm just gonna read some of the comments. Thank you guys for sticking around. Okay. So, Louise, let me know if that was helpful. Replace pinned image. Okay, so Shara Lembo says, what do you say to someone who recently learned they sorry, the comment like folds after a minute. It's like, stay open. I need to read you. Okay. Recently learned that they want to write without having this experience or the diploma or whatever. Okay. So this question is really about permission and credential and affirmation, right? So in the I'll call it like in old media, right? You needed credentials. I mean, you needed to like have a degree in journalism from NYU, right? In order to go work at a magazine that then had access to subscribers. And it was like a whole system. And there and writing and journalism and all of that editorial, like they loved a gatekeeper. Oh my God. It was like the gated forest. You couldn't do it. You literally couldn't, like, if you didn't go to some fancy school and if you didn't then intern at some place and then if you didn't, spend a summer at Random House, I mean, who were you, right? So I think first off, sociologically, things were changing, right? Substack exists. Anybody can, well, before Substack, there was WordPress, and before WordPress, there was Tumblr. I mean, so what I would say is write for yourself, not for attention. Not that you would never do it for attention, but write for yourself, not for accolades. Write for yourself because you need to write. So if you're a writer, writing is a compulsion. It's kind of like, I can't help it. I've just always had a journal, or this is just my go-to. This is how I operate. Okay. So write for yourself first and foremost to develop that skill. And I mean, what is writing essentially? Writing is a record and writing is connection. So I think you could do it all. I mean, you could literally do it all, build your own platform, build your own audience, have that connection directly without a single gatekeeper being involved. I promise you. So I also question when you're like, I recently learned that I want to write. I feel like you've always been a writer, and now it's just a matter of stepping into that recognition. Okay. So I wish you the best. Writers are my favorite. I mean, you're all my favorite, but especially writers. So I really wish you the best. Okay. Next question. This is fun. Is this fun, guys? My hair is really bothering me. But oh, this is so perfect because this question is about struggling with your appearance. Okay, here we go. Okay, so Halima says, Halima. Okay, I'm trying to pronounce that. I struggle the most with my appearance. I have the skills and motivation, but it's worst out and I get stuck on it as a business owner or creating content or even starting a YouTube channel. Okay. Um, oh, Shara says, thank you, Mandy. You've given me so much strength and inspiration. Thank you. Oh my God, it's so fun to be live. This is fun. Okay. Let's go back to the question. Okay, so first off, I really need us to investigate where these negative feelings about the appearance come from. I'm going to guess, let's say it was like from your parents, or let's say that it was from a young adult rejection, or even just from society. You have a different body type, or you have a different look that just doesn't happen to be popular at the moment. Okay. Um, I think that this is just one of the okay, so everybody has their own individual, like, challenges that they have to work through. Everybody has their own, like, opening and own kind of, back to self journey, okay? Some people are blessed and are, like, super physically stunning and beautiful, and that's not their journey, and their journey is instead maybe, like, cultivating a deeper sense of identity and self, not predicated on physical appearance. I wouldn't know anything about that, okay? But you wanna think about, like, okay, so what is my specific journey? What is the thing that I'm having to overcome here? Is it self-love? Is it just acceptance? Is it being seen in general and judged? Was there an event in the past where, somebody I mean, I have so many things that are coming up, like, in middle school, I would, like, have crushes on these boys, and they never liked me back, and that's why I developed a really great sense of humor because I was like, "Well, I can't rely on, like" I mean, listen, I was, like, pimply and, like, I understand, okay? I had a rough adolescence, but it made me stronger because it made me have a sense of humor and actually, like, develop a personality. Although later in life, I learned, like, there are people who actually have both, and then at first I was jealous, and then I was like, "Okay, no, you know what? Like, we can be happy for them. That's totally fine." And actually, like, abundance is a great thing. Okay, so you wanna think about what is it in my own personal life or my own personal journey that I am battling with? What is the wound that needs to be healed, right? Okay, so wait, I'm gonna pin this. Love from Malaysia. Yay. Okay. Wait, I just mailed something to Malaysia. Is that you? Did I mail it to you? Okay, so let me just read what you said. You said, "That's the thing, haha. I've never been rejected or picked on. I think it's through being compared to many people, good and bad, that makes me confused if it's a compliment or an insult." Okay, who compared you though? Who compared you? Was it your parents? Was it just random people? Let me know who compared you because that's also people are just annoying. Like, I don't know why people want to compare us all to each other and then we like internalize it, But I do think to Lewis's point, like I think that I think that it is the comparison. Let me think about this. Comparison. This is fun because you guys are getting to see, like, when I film my videos, I literally do this. I'll, like in my videos, I'm all, like everything is really tight and there aren't, like, a lot of pauses, but if you saw the raw footage, half the time I'm literally, like, just, like, thinking, like, "What is that?" And then I'll, like, have a thought, and then I'll, like, turn back to the camera and be all, like, polished, but it's so funny that in this live, you could see me literally just being like friends, family, distant cousins. Okay. So here, I'm gonna just say something to you. I think it's just noise. I think it's noise. You sound like you're super beautiful, and I think and I think that okay, if I'm piecing things together, you're having a lot of comparisons. You're now thinking about how do I show up, right? Potentially in a way where I'm seen. Okay. So a lot of this is also comfort in being perceived, right? Like, what if I say something or do something? What if I look a certain way and people comment on it, right? I don't have any like silver bullet solution. I just think that it's over time you'll get more comfortable because ultimately there's a reason why you want to show up and that is probably to help someone or probably to spread a message. Like at the end of the day, okay, let me try to not be so wordy. I'm super self-conscious too, but at the end of the day, I have to make it about something outside of me, right? That's why like when I started showing up on YouTube and I was like, "Okay guys, actually like here are messages of inspiration. Here are things that can help you." Right? That either I feel like I'm channeling or I'm just getting inspired myself and working through this shit and then sharing it, right? Then it's not about me. What, someone wants to talk about how I'm, like, balding right here? Okay, fine, go ahead. You know what I mean? It's like when you can step into a mission that's outside of yourself, that is being of service to other people, whether that's creating art, making music, creating content, whatever, then you actually release a part of your ego because it's not about you. Like, if you would have told me a year ago you're gonna show up and your hair's gonna be all messy and you're gonna have, like, boxes behind you, I would've been like, "Oh my god, no." But I'm like, "It's not about me. I'm a mirror and I'm a channel." It doesn't nobody cares. They're not thinking about my hair the way I'm thinking about my hair. No, none of you guys are thinking about my hair. It doesn't matter, okay? Oh, Rio, thank you. Okay, so Mind Palace says, wait, I just want to pin this because this comment is like so fire. Um, okay, so Mind Palace says sometimes it's culture. When people have nothing else to comment on, the only thing that they can come up with is appearance. That's so true. No one who is happy with their life would go out of their way to hate on someone. This is true. And also, I don't know what culture or background you're from, but like my mom, who is Taiwanese, like, she'll literally she doesn't do this as much anymore because I think honestly there was a lot of anxiety for like Taiwanese moms to like make sure that their daughters are like married off. Like as soon as I got married, this conversation sort of stopped. Conversation. It was one way negative criticism. But she was always like telling me things about my appearance or like I'm too loud or like cross my legs, be more demure, whatever. Because she literally from her mouth, she said, I'm the it's my responsibility to look out for you and AKA fix you and no one else if I don't tell you these things, no one else will tell you. It's like so fucked up. And I've had a lot of conversations with her. I've done a lot of work on this because I realized like so much of my insecurities and syndrome just came from like my own mother criticizing me. But I have to realize like, okay, during that time, communist revolution, she's just trying to protect me. This is her criticism can be a parent's love language. And so I just want to say that to you. That maybe that's it. I don't know. Oh my God, Mind Palace. Mind Palace, you and I are like the same vibe. You're like, yep, same here. Oh my God, Asian culture. My mom was the same. Turns out no one else actually cares about those things. It was just her. 100%. 100%. Nobody in my life has ever cared about that shit. It was just my own freaking mom. Thank you. Thanks, mom. Yeah. So exactly. I'm just gonna pin this comment and then I'm gonna move on to the next one. Thank you so much. But okay. So you say, now that you mention it, there have been many instances of criticism, especially being the first to do something different than the norms. Listen, I'm not going to assume like everybody's parents are like immigrants and like lived through some kind of, cultural revolution type thing. But a lot of our parents literally lived through a survival, a sort like like my grandmother on my dad's side was refugee. Like, she escaped communist China and, like, came to Hong Kong. You know what I mean? So and then later on in her life, when she had Alzheimer's, you know how Alzheimer's will, like, warp your sense of time, and then you sometimes get locked into a specific memory, and then you relive that day over and over? So the day that she relived for, like, the last 2 years of her life, every single day, this was the day that she relived, was the day that she had to pack her things and leave China. So, like, think about that from a psyche perspective. Like, that was her psyche. Like, she went on. She had a great life in Hong Kong. She had 4 kids. She raised those kids successfully. She had a little apartment to herself. Like, you know what I'm saying? But somewhere deep in her dark psyche was a survival fear. And so if you think that shit is not passed down, and if you think that somehow then my parents did not inherit this same kind of like panicky fear, and then you have all this energy, and where do you put it? I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm being persecuted. I feel like I have to survive. Okay, let's criticize every move that might be risky that we can't control. And also let's criticize their appearance. This is the only way I can rationalize it. This is the only way. Okay, I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna read some of the comments from a couple scrolls ago. Um, okay, hold on. Let's answer this question. Okay, and I'm sorry I can't, like, get to everyone. Maybe soon I could figure out, like, a better system for doing this. I think there's, like, a whatever. I think the system's great. It's not overcomplicated. Okay, so Isha says, "Trying to be positive while applying to countless grants/jobs and suffering so much rejection. How do you stay positive when reality is you need to pay rent, especially with passion?" Okay. Let me think about this. This is, like, what I do in coaching, by the way. I, like, literally close my eyes. Sorry, this is, like, weird. Okay. Um, Look, okay. So first what I'll say is that, like, in this economy, it is a very tough job market, like, full stop, okay? So you like, compared to during the pandemic, for example, you probably have to apply to 5 times more jobs than you would have had to, and there's 50% less jobs, okay? So supply and demand, like, period, okay? So first off, you are justified, you are right, this is correct, this is the situation, it is demoralizing, it is hurting everybody's morale, okay? I think that I'm not gonna do, like, what is that thing called where you're just, like, happy-go-lucky, like, overly positive? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna say, "You know what? It sucks." Like, it totally does, and I think also to imagine a world where you're just, like, happy and consistent is not reality. There are gonna be days where you literally are like, "Fuck my life." Like, there are going to be days where you're ghosted. There's going to be days where you get asked for an interview and then they stop responding and you're like, "Hello?" Like there's but part of this, I think that the silver lining in this is to say when we apply to jobs, there's actually a lot of jobs that we apply to that we don't want to do. And we for a variety of reasons, right? Practicality, pay the bills, I don't want to do this, but I'm qualified for it, so that increases my likelihood of getting the job. Like there's so many contortions that we do to our own body and our own psyche in order to try and get the job, right? Because the job equals consistent income and security. So pretty much for that, when you are in this state of seeking, you're going to do a lot of things that you don't otherwise want to do. Everything is an opportunity, right? So I would say this is an opportunity for you to truly refine what it is that you want. Because there's sort of a couple layers, right? So the first layer is this rejection layer, which is there's a lot of rejection happening. And that's tough because the other thing that I want to say is we don't normally put ourselves out there and apply, like, when else in life are you vulnerable? Like if you're working a job, you're just like going to your job and you might have conflict here and there, and if you're in a relationship, you're just like hanging out with your partner. Like if you have friends, you're not like asking your friends if they like you every day, right? So in our day-to-day life, it's so weird because we don't put ourselves out there like this. But when you apply to a job, you literally are being judged, and it is an outcomes based thing. Okay, so just recognize the nature of, like, you're normally just like chilling in your house, and now in this time of applying to jobs, you're out there and you're like getting hit by arrows every single day. Like, so of course you're gonna be, you know, here's what I would say. Try to pay attention to what you really want to do. Try to find a side hustle that will let you bring in some income in a flexible way. And oftentimes people will be like, "Oh, I don't want to do that. It's below me. Should I really do that?" Okay. And I say that having having a bare minimum amount of income does wonders for your psyche. So sometimes people ask me like, "Well, should I my friend works at this coffee shop, but like that's ridiculous because I have a master's degree." And I'll be like, "Do you like coffee? Do you wanna hang out in a coffee shop?" And they'll be like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I just wonder what it's gonna do to my sense of identity," you know? And I'll be like, "Yeah, but does it pay the rent for now?" I mean, this is the thing is identity is fluid, right? So just because you work at a coffee shop, it doesn't mean that you are a loser. It just means you're working at a coffee shop because you know yourself and you know you have to pay the bills. So I think that okay, all of that, I hope that's helpful. Okay, I'm just reading. I'm just reading. Oh, hi, Benjamin. Okay, toxic positivity. Oh, Jesse says, thank you so much for the motivation. Wrestling content keeps asking, how are you control the body? But I don't understand that question. Can you elaborate? Okay, so I'm going to answer Lewis's question. Okay, so Lewis asks, Lewis is such an OG, by the way. He was a subscriber when I had 50 subscribers. And he would comment on every video. Lewis, you kept me going in those days. You really kept me going. So thank you. Okay. So Lewis asks, do you have any mistakes when starting YouTube that you are making or see others make now that you've grown, and how did you overcome it? Thank you forever. That's so nice. I don't know that I made any mistakes because it was all just part of it. You know, I feel like my process in the beginning was to just like try what I wanted to do and then be okay flopping. Like I literally when I had one video like really pop off, and at the time that was like 10,000 views cuz I posted probably 15 videos and they each had like 200 views, and I was like, "Okay, I don't know. I just always felt like YouTube was this like other land because everybody's so polished and then everybody speaks in that weird voice. And then everybody has those graphics where it's like hot pink background and then there's like a white outline around their head. And I don't know, like my kids were watching YouTube. So I just thought it was like, I mean, I always, of course, loved YouTube, but YouTube was like my comfort. Like I would watch um cleaning videos and I would watch like homemaking I would watch people making like pasta and stuff. So the idea that somehow I could ever make it on YouTube seemed it really honestly seemed just not like it wasn't going to happen. I told myself, "Oh, I can do TikTok cuz TikTok's like super casual and I can just like shoot the shit." But YouTube like, "Oh my god, like production value, like I have no idea. Like I'm not a cinematographer. Like how the fuck am I going to do this?" So, I think there was a moment where I just didn't care, and I've told this story. I don't know if I've told this story, but like there was a moment where so I had a podcast. I had a podcast which I was really into because I could just close my eyes and like I could really get into it and then nobody was watching. What happened was one time my microphone broke, and then the only microphone I had was on my little was on this little this is like what I film with, and so it was this. And so in order to get the audio for my stupid podcast, which again there were 5 people listening, um I had to record it on this, and then since I was recording it on this, I had the footage, but I'm telling you, the footage was literally me being like, like just like talking into the I did not. If you look at my early YouTube videos, I didn't make eye contact, and people in the comments would be like, "Great content, but why is this girl not making eye contact?" And I was like, "Because I'm not trying to be on YouTube. Like I don't know how to do it and I can't do it." And so it was that video that I posted, I think because I just was like, nobody's going to watch this. I have literally 50 subscribers, nobody cares, that I just kind of let loose and I just talked like I would talk. And so I don't think that any of that was a mistake. And I don't know. I don't think of it. I don't care. I guess this is what I'm gonna say. My mindset is I don't care. I've probably made 1,000. I'm making mistakes right now. I don't care. What I care, my priority is growth. So my priority is like, that's why I'm on this live right now, because I'm like, I've never done a live. Like, let's try it, right? My priority is how do I get better at something? And I know that in order to get better at it, oh my God, people used to comment, because guys, I really didn't know anything. People like these really nice uh subscribers would comment and they'd be like, hey, so I really like your content, but like your microphone is all messed up. like I hear the pops and you're too close to it, and like you're just, and they would literally in the comments tell me how to fix stuff. They'd be like, hey, your lighting is off, your sound is off. And so yeah, those were all mistakes, but I don't care. Ooh, epitome of subtle sublimity. That's just such a cool, that's such a cool, oh my God. Lewis was subscriber 42. I'm telling you, he was an OG. Um, okay, I'm just reading the comments. Okay, let's pin this one. And I apologize, guys, too, if I'm like missing your comment. I will get better and better at this, but I also feel like, well, it's working. Okay. So, epitome of subtle sublimity. What? You guys are poets. Okay. Do you have advice or any previous videos talking about how to come up with a service to offer friends and followers? Okay. So, epitome, tell me a little bit more about what you do and like what, just like what, are you a coach? Are you a healer? Are you a tarot person? Like, what do you do? Okay, so epitome, as I wait for you to respond, I'm gonna just um answer Sarah's question. So Sarah asks, "Hi, how do you know you get better?" A stupid question. It's not a stupid question. Um, I just think you just have to keep showing up. Like you guys know, like I do CrossFit, and I just think that it's like, okay. Well, I guess you know you're getting better because it takes less time and there's less emotional resistance. And I think you can literally get better at anything. It used to take me 3 hours to edit a YouTube video. I don't know. It just took forever. I literally had to Google everything. I was like, how to split? Like I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. And now it takes me 40 minutes. I think one day I figured out all these tricks, you know? And then I'm pretty sure at some point it'll take me 25 minutes. I don't think it can get any lower than that because you just have to watch the thing, you know, but you get better at it because it takes less time, and you get better at it because I think the getting better at it is the enjoyment of it. That is where the satisfaction comes from. Because you get to tell yourself, "Oh, last time I felt this way about it and this time I feel better." Or last time I could only do 10 and now I can do 20, right? Hold on, my phone was buzzing. I just want to make sure because oh, it's my husband. Um, so you guys know my LinkedIn profile got hacked. I don't know if you know this because I don't think I've posted about it on YouTube because I was like, oh, it's just too. It's like I really cannot be. It's too much drama. I was like, people don't need to know. But my LinkedIn profile got hacked and they took over the entire profile and they changed it to someone named Bobby Tang. And it's like a whole new person. It's all AI. And it's like this blonde, I got like whitewashed. It's this blonde person who's a surfer. I don't know what the end game is, but it's like a fake person, but it has like all my connections and all my followers. I don't have a lot of followers on LinkedIn because who cares? But so I'm trying to get my profile back. And one of the things is I have to prove my identity. So my husband, uh, he's like, I have a notary lined up. So stupid. So stupid. Okay, I'm trying to see if Epitome wrote back. Hold on. OT says, I wish I could stay on this live, but I'm at work. Oh, thank you. No, you're not alone in your intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts is such a good description. I think that's my whole channel is like naming intrusive thoughts and being like, go away. Okay. Oh, girl. Okay, so let me pin this. Of course. I was like, I know you're not an accountant. I know that you're doing some kind of dream interpretation, tarot, and oracle. Okay, first off, I kind of want that. Okay. So, and astrology, but I want to focus on dreams and astro for now, but I'm struggling to come up with an offer that doesn't feel too big for me to take on. Okay. So, I'm going to get real cuz healer to healer here. What I'm going to say is as you are giving readings, this is really you tapping into your connection with spirit and connection with the helping spirits and higher power, right? And so that can be both energy giving because you are obviously connecting with that which nourishes you. And also it is you need to do a lot of energy management. This book, you probably know this book, Donna Eden, Energy Medicine. She gives all of these tips on how, for especially for practitioners, on how to clear your energy field and how to kind of protect yourself energetically as a practitioner. Okay, so there's a lot of like pre-work and post-work in order to cleanse and protect your own energy, right? Because this is such an intimate practice. So what I would say is maintaining that relationship with your own sovereignty and your own energetic source is going to be the most important thing to you deciding what offerings you give. So, one, allow yourself deep flexibility to change this at any time. Allow yourself to update this based on literally like, where is the moon? What is Mercury in retrograde? Like, how am I feeling? When am I feeling productive versus when am I feeling like I just need to be in my moon phase and reclusive, right? So ultimately, your business is the structure with which you will deepen your own relationship with spirit. Okay. So, therefore, your offerings need to be in complete alignment with that. I would say start small and start inspired, but also start in a way that doesn't drain you and doesn't like diminish your offering. So, I would say try and figure out where are you most personally curious to grow and to learn, and then offer that with fewer clients, but clients that come on a more regular basis. So I hope everyone who's not a practitioner is like, the fuck? But that is my honest advice to you. I'm trying to think what else. Okay, another just like practical tip that I would say, because I see a lot of practitioners, like healers, like struggle with this, is I think that you need to spend a little time setting up your operations because like the back and forth with clients is really just like a pain in the ass. And I know for me, like that's like one of the reasons that I kind of stopped doing it because I was just like, I like the logistics of this is like killing me. Because if we're spiritual people, like logistics can be really hard. So I would say, you want to look into systems where it's like people can just book and pay through a link. You're not trying to be like, does Thursday at 10 a.m. work for like none of that shit. Okay. Just like a Calendly with I accept a credit card and it's $88 or it's $111 or whatever you're gonna do. Right. And then just that whole process is like seamless. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take one more question because you guys, speaking of life is lifing, my front door is like loose, and my super, I agreed to meet with him at 10 a.m. and I have to put the cats away. So it's like, oh, sorry, I have to stop my YouTube stream because I have to put my cats away and meet with my super. But like, that is really what's happening. Okay. Let me just read what Epitome said. I actually never heard of that one. Thank you. I'll check it out. That pre-post work is absolutely something I need to solidify more. Yes, because any type of energetic work that you do for people, and this also expands into like people who are creative, any kind of work like that is you are channeling, and you are giving a lot of yourself. And this includes to like, even if you're doing like consulting, like business consulting, like you're giving a lot of yourself. So I think boundarying and knowing like when the work begins and when it ends, and also doing a check around your body after the session to make sure that there are no like energetic tendrils that have connected to you, or that someone hasn't accidentally corded to your energy during a session. Energetic cleansing. Okay, that is like the key, because the goal is to have sustainability for you, meaning like you can do this for a long time. Okay, energetic cleansing is like the only way. Oh, thank you, Julie. Julie says, I want to thank you for your videos. They're helping me so much. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna take one last question. Okay. I'm so excited to like, after this is done, because I haven't read every single comment, but it's like, I'm gonna watch the replay. I'm not gonna look at my face, but I'm gonna watch the replay and I'm gonna read the comments. That'll be really fun for me. Okay, so Valencia says, when you first started your business, what did you do to block out the noise, stop comparing yourself to your peers? It's really hard because everybody's so successful. I also went to B school and it feels like a constant judgment game. Okay. So B school, for those of you who are not in this world, business school. This is like a master's degree. It's a 2-year master's degree that you do where it's focused on business, primarily finance, accounting, strategy, marketing classes. Typically, people are like 26, 27 years old when they go to business school. So they've had 3 to 4 years of work experience. And then the whole goal of B school is to get a job at some company that pays you a ginormous amount of money. Okay. It is amazing. It can be an accelerant. It's also highly gross because sort of mean, but in my experience, I'll just say in my experience, it can be really tough because Valencia, you got to think about who is there, right? You got to think about it. It's like 90% former bankers, consultants, people who worked in big tech. I mean, this is the elite of the elite. This is the highest earning potential people in the world. So they're not going to be like necessarily the most grounded. They are often in the pursuit of money and power. And like, aren't we all, I mean, there's a part of us all that want that as well. But it could be a little intense. So what I'll say is, especially, okay, here's what I'm going to say. You just have to check in with yourself and be like, what is my goal? If your goal is to be the head of EMEA and mid-market at Salesforce or at Goldman Sachs, and that is truly what you want to do because you want to learn and run fast and work with the best and do all of that, okay? Then that's your goal. And you should do anything you can to keep up with that and do that. However, you're in this live. And you watch my videos. So girl, I know that's not your goal. I would die. I would die. I know that's not your goal. I know you have things that are different, that are off the beaten path. We talked about this earlier, right? Like being judged for doing things out of the norm. And so you just have to remember that just because you spent this 2 years with people and now this is sort of this benchmark, right? Oh, class of 2021 or whatever year you went to B school, right? And you can see them, you can see what they're doing, and you're like, oh my God, we started at the same place and now they're so far ahead. And I'm just like doing this weird thing, right? You just have to remind yourself, like, yeah, but that's not my goal. That's not my goal. And that's it. Just knowing that you don't have the same motivations as these people, and that's okay. And that probably you're a hybrid, right? You're a bridge between worlds. You're not just like a capital markets finance person. Like you have other things, other talents, and you're just going to take a little from here and take a little from there and blend it and make your own path. So, Valencia, that's what I would say. Yeah, different priorities, goals, and motivations for sure. Thank you guys so much. You literally, like, I'm on every platform now, and I have to say, I'm like going all in on YouTube because everyone's just like such a vibe on YouTube. Everybody's so nice. I have to tell you, I came from TikTok, and TikTok people are like really funny, and like, I mean, you guys are funny too, but like really, really like with it and very engaged. But you guys are like really deep and thoughtful and nice, and I feel like I've like found my people, and this is very surreal that I'm doing a live, but fun. Okay. Yay! Okay, thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go now. I guess this will be posted and people can watch it after the fact. So I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna go meet with my super and get that front door fixed. Are you on X? No, because Elon. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I was never on Twitter. And then after Elon took it over, I was like, well, I'm definitely not going there. So love you guys. Yay. Oh my God, wait, I'm going to take a screenshot. I'm going to take a screenshot because I cannot believe there's 78 freaking people. I'm going to send this to my YouTube account manager and be like, holy F, look at this. Okay, I got the screenshot. Thank you guys so much. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, how do I end it? Oh, end stream. Oh, yay. Oh my God, you guys are so nice. Okay, bye, 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 bye.